Welcome back. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm also the author of Money Boxing, available on Amazon, which kind of sets this up. This is the third part of the debugging process that came from a Ring magazine article from June 2013 on page 72, assessing the differences between styles. If you haven't watched the first two, please watch those first two segments. It'll make this a lot easier to understand. When the authors went, and again, I think it looks as if they just, what I want to think is that they knew what was real, but they had to mishmash it together for a deadline or just to make it entertaining for the fans, so maybe it wasn't technical, and for a fan, that's fine. That's fine. Again, I recommend the Ring magazine, but this is for money. For those of you who are doing this for money, you can't screw this up. This will cost you. This will cost you every month. So they call it a slugger or brawler. Talked about them a little bit on the last one, which they differentiate from a pressure fighter. Don't ask me how. But we call it a fighter, and the reason we call it a fighter is because Kenny Weldon, the trainer of the best-selling series, You Can Learn to Box videos, in the master texts, refer to it as a fighter. We're going to refer to it as a fighter also. Now, the nuances in the description of this character, they're accurate. This is the heart of I will take and I will give, and I illustrated that in the last message to you. But where they make mistakes, at this level, when I say they're costly, I mean, if you get a pain in your chest on the left side, maybe you're having a heart attack. Maybe you have gas. Misdiagnosing that might be fine. It might not be fine. And it's not fine that these things weren't differentiated. One of the athletes listed as a fighter was named Rocky Graziano. Those of you who remember Paul Newman know that he became famous by representing the fighter Rocky Graziano, the original Dead-End Kid, in the book, from the book, translated in the movie, Somebody Up There Likes Me. Now, this was as pure a puncher as existed in the sport. There are few as one predictable and cute and crude, but things were misdiagnosed in the beginning, so that by the end of this article, you're seeing the mistakes catch up to them on a regular basis, and this is one of them. Rocky Graziano had no left hand of which to speak. He'd kind of stick it out as some sort of rangefinder, wind up, and crank an overhand right into his opponents. His swings going through the air were so dangerous, they all but left a chemtrail behind them. This was a pure puncher. Max Baer, pure puncher. Stanley Ketchel, pure puncher. But they misdiagnosed it because they didn't get their ducks in a row earlier. Don't make the same mistake. If a guy is just swinging for the fences every time, he's not a slugger, he's not a fighter, he's not a brawler, he's a puncher. I'm going to give the definitive example, what I believe is the definitive example, so you can separate these. And we're going to, with the exception of color, these guys look just about the same. I'm talking about Rocky Marciano and Smokin' Joe Frazier. You're going to see these guys. You're going to, when you look at a guy like Brandon Rios, or am I looking at a fighter? Am I looking at a slugger? Or am I looking at a pure puncher? What am I seeing? This is going to help. This is going to help. I hope it's going to help you. What we're talking about with these two guys, Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier, these guys were at the top of the heavyweight division, and during their peaks, there's no question about it, whatever came later. So you have two guys that are fighting bigger men. They both have kind of rounded shoulders. One's 5'11", one's 5'10", not very big, short arms, stocky, thick legs. Neither one of them started boxing very young. Although Frazier won the Olympics, neither one was a juvenile boxer, and they weren't very fast. And it frequently, in many of their bouts, took them a long time to get going. They would absorb a lot of punishment before they would overpower their opponents. And there was no more spectacular a swing than Joe Frazier leaning under and coming with that left hook. Boy, Smokin' Joe Frazier's left hook was the best. Rocky Marciano would extend his body. He would arc and turn an overhand right called Suzy Q, and they were the most dominant heavyweight divisions at the fighter's peak. They looked the same, blood and guts, great conditioning, not very long at the elite level. What style were they? Well, they went toward their opponent. Were they pressure fighters? They knocked guys out. Were they punchers? Threw real hard. They went forward and exchanged a lot, kind of in a blood and guts way. Are they fighters? Okay, look, this is simple. It's not how it looks, it's what is the intent behind the motion. Joe Frazier was a fighter, according to Weldon's definition. Hand, foot, coordination, fast, chugged his way in, found his rhythm, and broke a guy's rhythm down. The rangefinder that he used wasn't even his left hook. What set that left hook up was a right uppercut. When he could get a guy to stand straight with that, then he could come from short range, or he could take that follow-through step and come through from here or from here. And he was a fighter. He's going to engage you with this rhythm. Ali would go like that. He'd count for Joe. 1, 2, 3. Marciano was swinging for the fences every shot. Lean back. Hard. Every shot was designed to take you out. Every shot could soften you up, and a lot of them did take people out. But Kenny Weldon thought this lesson was so important that on his advanced videos where he separates these styles, he has Frazier as the representation for the fighter, the brawler, the slugger, and he has Marciano as the representation for the puncher. So these guys look the same, but they do completely different things, and you have to diagnose them differently. Because if you don't, you're going to end up making these kind of pivotal misdiagnoses, and you don't want to miss the money. So this is the third installment. I'm going to have one more, and at the end, I hope you'll be able to take what these people tried to do with this magazine, or you can just get my book and learn it all right the first time. And take what they did with the magazine and debug it. And debug it so you can see in a straight line to where your money is. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm Christian Shreve, and I'm here to tell you about why I think you should own my new book, Money Boxing, which is on sale now. Money Boxing has something for everyone, whether or not you know anything about boxing. You're about to receive a backstage pass into a world of glamour, corruption, and intrigue. And you're going to learn about the system, which is the only thing the casinos have had to fear in a long time. You can own Money Boxing by clicking on the link below now. I think you'll like it.